Now there's gonna be three finals.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are batting practice, and today we have a very special video for you to kick off the 2023-2024 NBA season. We are doing a little NBA Sorare lineup building. Let's get into it.
Heyo. I guess you can't
Shout
say
out
we're a MLB podcast anymore, but let's hop right into
so.
it. Yeah, so we're hopping on Sorare data here, and we're gonna build ourselves a few lineups. We're gonna build a contender lineup and a champion lineup. Ooh, let's get it.
Let's
But
go.
wait, we got a stipulation. According to the hat, we are building our champion lineup around our MVP. Remember, his L15 or his L10 doesn't count in the MVP lineup since he's the MVP. We're building that around Giannis. And our contender lineup, newly traded and my pick for player to watch out for this season, Damian Lillard. So let's hop right into it.
It's Dame time.
So on
It's
Sorare
Dame
data,
time, baby.
they have made some great improvements to the lineup builder. Obviously, the suggest a lineup tool is pretty nice. I think there'll be more features coming. But today, we'll be using the concept players feature, which I believe is new as of this year. You can see this is my gallery. We could just build with my players, but that won't be as fun. So if you turn this on, boom, now you have access to every single player, including the ones that you own. I think they're highlighted in still yellow. So it'll be fun to see if we pick anyone that I also own. But this is a great tool from Sorare Data and will be awesome as we're building out this lineup. So right now I'll sort it by L10 from last year. And like we said, we're going to put Dame to start in, which will automatically take 53 of our 110 cap points, which normally would be so many to spend on one player. To make the math work, you're going to probably have to have a lot of low average players. So I think this will be kind of a fun exercise and to see how many guys we can sneak into this lineup. But certainly, if you can get those low L10s, fitting a guy like Dame into your lineup will definitely help you win. And as we kind of went over the prize pools on the podcast, shout out to that. There's a lot of fun rewards out there this season. So I think right away, with these first couple of weeks, there will be lots of players that have a 0 average just based on how Sorare NBA is calculating that. Essentially, if you have not played an NBA game in the last season, you automatically start at 0. The other way you could get that is if you were a bench player and just didn't play, sat on the bench, watched the game instead of being part of it, still probably got paid millions. You would also have an L10 of 0.
James Harden.
And so for reference, if I then or we could, this is, I forget, in NBA, you can actually have negative points. You can actually bring down your average.
Yes. Toast this.
Yes. So we started off sorting by L10. So the highest L10 average based on the last is the MVP, Jokic. And the lowest is, let's see, Alondes Williams now on the Miami Heat. So there we go. That's an example. Looks like he was on the Nets last season. Let's see.
He's probably not going to play in the NBA, so I would stay away from him.
Yeah. Again, I would love to see his
He's
career
in the G
highlights.
League.
If he was
not in the G League anymore.
He's not even good enough for the G League. So this is great. It's a great call out to say, as you're doing research, again, these L10s are based on the past. So the fact that they have a card, that they have an average, does not mean they're actually going to play this season. So step one, especially as you're trying to scout for these quote unquote cheat codes, don't fall into the trap of buying somebody that actually won't be playing in the NBA this season, and likely their value will crater. So that's something to watch out for. But great call out, Jacob. As could have been tempted to Because if I added Mr. Williams in here, you can see
No,
our
we gotta
average
stick
goes back
with one
up
of the
to
rookies.
Well, yeah,
Hey,
I'm
look at that.
just
It
showing
did go
That's
back up.
hilarious.
we gained cap points, baby.
Let's go.
But still, he would have been 0. And I think we can do a little bit better than a +3 difference. Yeah, so should we look towards the rookies? Obviously, that's a natural way to start. I mean, check Holmgren, you know, probably gonna be put up some big numbers this year.
See,
Wembanyama.
Yeah, I mean, there's always Wemby, and I feel like that's where everyone's gonna go. But if you look at the second and the third pick, I'm gonna be watching the third pick in person because it's
Brandon
Bryce
Miller, baby.
Miller who plays for
Brandon.
your Charlotte Hornets.
Brandon.
And sorry, I'm on
Bryce Harper.
No, Bryce Young for your Charlotte Panthers,
okay.
who are
Fair enough.
horrific, the Carolina Panthers. Brandon Miller is who I'm looking at to see in person, but also Scoot, the second pick as well.
You can't go wrong with Scoot. With a name like Scoot,
With a name like Scoot,
he's bound to do well, right?
Yeah, or sorry,
Now,
the third pick. Scoot was the third pick.
The only thing, and again, this is going to be fantasy land, unless
Miller
you are
was
one
the
of the
second.
lucky or really rich people that own one of the one-offs at this point, you will not be able to play any of those players in your lineup with an L10 of 0. So unfortunately, they're limiting the cheat codes here from a rookie perspective. So I don't know, guys, if we want to pretend like we didn't buy one of those, since it'll make it a little bit more real, or for funsies, I guess we could throw in one of them.
I think let's pretend that one of our rookies here was injured last year and we're using someone like that. So hypothetically, we're using someone that has a 0 that we already own in our lineups. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, but like a guy like Connor Gillespie, actually does have an L10 of 0. You can get one of them on the open market. Again, I haven't done, much research into Mr. Gillespie, but he's one of those that you could actually own. Whereas, any of the rookies as of right now for game week 1 and 2, you will not be able to get any of them before the game week starts. So I guess we could, like, it depends on how we would go with it. Josh, I don't know if you have any.
Let's send. Oh, well, yeah, Nash, what do you think, I guess?
I mean, if we're going to build a champ lineup after this, so we might full send that with like a Wemby. I say if we don't do
no. We won't use a 0 in the champ lineup.
Okay,
you could use
the 0 because I mean, for this first week, if you have multiple players with the 0, you could throw both in one lineup and go. I don't think you would even have enough points. Like, you might as well spread them. But if you have 2 players that are 0 that are going to play, playing one in each would make sense, because then you could stack both of those lineups. But let's not do it for the sake of the video. Let's do it in this one.
Wrong. I'm excited to see Brandon Miller. I'm excited to see Scoot. I'm excited to see Chet Holmgren play. I'm very excited to see the Thompson twins in the NBA this year. But I think if we're going to 0, if we're going to rookie, Wemby has the most hype. I think we just go Wemby.
It has to be Wemby. Also, currently, and probably will, unless something horrific happens, has the highest sold rare card this year so far. Maybe Jokic will go higher. Who knows? But his rares sold for 18 grand.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
It is
so
the draft
Wemby.
edition.
No, I like it. Send me the Wemby.
Send me Wemby. It's sent. It's sent.
So now we have 57 points remaining. Yeah.
So about 20, 20 per player.
About 20. Yeah. 19 per player. So do you guys have a go-to lower scoring player from last year? Because personally, I know I had a few. Yeah.
This is my boy.
All right. Yeah.
Jake the Ravia of the Memphis Grizz.
Jake LaRave. Yeah.
Gonna
Okay.
do a little pump action. He had some, if we go to his scores here, again, he didn't play much, but this stretch, I believe this is when Ja might have flashed something a little bit to some people. He got to have some action there. If you don't know, just Google it. I think at this point he had a very, very low L10. So again, getting 22, basically a cheat code. So if he can put up a 20 number, that's what I would love to get out of him for this first week.
Yeah.
That's my, but again, there's lots of options here too.
I mean, he's a first round pick from last year. Is Laravia?
Yeah.
I honestly had him on my list, which is crazy because you went ahead and set him right away. So I love that pick. I am currently looking at my gallery, and someone who I was a huge fan of, but ended up actually gaining a higher average over time was JT Thor for the Hornets.
That's the first player that came to my mind was JT Thor.
What's his L10?
His average nowadays, I want to say, is like 20.
His L10
is
18.
Average.
18.
Okay, he could be good to look at and go down to that range. Seeing some green scores pop.
There he is. Thor.
Yeah.
The problem that we'll see here in these first maybe even month of the season is these low rated players and who is going to emerge. Like you mentioned, I don't know if it was this video or on the actual podcast, Mark Williams. You said that was this video or this special here. Mark Williams started off on the Hornets as well with like a 7 average and became a starter. And all of a sudden, I want to say his is now like 23, 25 plus even. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's something that you won't have to pick from this early on in the season, just to consider.
And I think once you get down into this range, you have to be a little bit careful going into a new season. Some of these players will definitely come out and their averages will go way up because they're going to be starting, playing more minutes, getting more points. And some of these players will fall off and become an 8th, 9th, 10th man that won't even be playing anymore. I think if you're going with some of the younger guys that were rookies in the last few years, that's probably a little bit of a safer bet. The player that came to mind in my gallery besides JT Thor was Jabari Walker. He was a rookie last year. He played a decent amount, put up some decent scores. He finished with a L10 of 17. And I'm looking for him to kind of, with Damian Lillard being gone, I'm looking for him to kind of break out on the Trailblazers. So that was kind of my thought. He's getting good minutes, 15 to 20 minutes a game.
That'll be higher probably.
Yeah. With Dame being gone, you would think he would start getting some more minutes, being more of a standout guy.
I like that shout.
So hear me out. Why not throw them both in there?
Sure.
Something I will do personally especially with the contender lineup is I'll throw 2 of these players in who have maybe like a 10, 12 point average, and then stack it with maybe 2 30s instead of all like 20s on that average there, or 18s. I don't know. Just something else to consider is how you build these lineups. They don't always have to be the spot on average. Like, you're going to want guys to overperform here. So what do we got? 22 left?
22. So if I go to actually 22, let's see.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You generally want to spend, but you can always 20, I think, leaving 2 cap space is probably like the sweet spot for contender. I will go a little bit bigger with champion since we do have the higher cap. But anyone in this kind of 20 to 22 range, 22 on the dot obviously is perfect. Yeah.
I'm gonna pump again.
Ooh,
I'm gonna pump my lineup again.
Permission.
Oh, let's hear it.
The player that jumped out to me right away is the probably worst of the brothers, Jaden McDaniels, right at 22. He is someone that was a staple in my lineups, especially my contender and even sometimes underdog if I could fit him in. He got minutes and he was playing 25, 30 minutes a game. I think he got hurt towards the end. I think that's why we're seeing the
Did.
DNP. I
Yep.
could be wrong about that. But he was getting
Yeah, he did.
25, 30 minutes a game and pretty consistently too. And was putting up decent scores. So I'm looking at his past 15 scores or so before
be
he got
back.
hurt.
He
He was
should be
putting
back,
up
I think.
30s and 40s, even some in the 20s, but a lot of 30s, couple 40s. So that's who came to my mind right away, and I have him in my gallery. So
Hey, always got to shout out those Minnesota sports too, you know.
Oh
Exactly.
It looks like Jaden McDaniels is still out of the preseason,
I was gonna say I don't know what his
but
injury
he
status is right
hopes
now.
he will be ready when the regular season begins. So let's throw
Okay.
him in. Well, I'm okay with it. I like it.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Another
yeah.
factor too, kind of going off what I said earlier, he's still 23. So kind of going for those younger guys can sometimes be a little bit safer. You're hoping they kind of break out a little bit, which is kind of the goal in contender anyway. So kind of going for some younger talent here, that's for sure.
All right, someone take a screenshot of this. We'll have to calculate
Well,
out
hold on.
how this
Yeah,
actually does.
We're gonna have to kind of like crop in Wemby because he's just gone.
No, Wemby just will emerge. He'll emerge, man. So Data's got to update.
All
his
right,
picture.
well, let's give it let's give it an announcement here, like it's a lineup. All right. Starting at guard with an average of 0. Victor Wembanyama. Next up,
Woo!
starting at point guard with an average of 53, Milwaukee Bucks, Damian Lillard.
Woo!
Next up, your starting lineup is number 34, not with an average of 34, but number 34, Jabari Walker.
Woo!
Two more left here. We got starting for at another point guard position. Sorry, a strong forward position. We have with an average of, I can't see his average. Is it
18?
18?
18,
There we go. And last but not least, who do we have? I can't see. It's not loaded yet on my screen. No, that was McDaniels.
Oh,
well, then we
is
got
22.
Yeah, McDaniels is 22. He's got to round it out.
JT Thor.
Oh,
He may not be a Nordic
last
guy.
but not least, in your starting lineup with an average of 18, center JT Thor. All right, that's pretty good. I won't do that for the next one. That was kind of cringy.
Or let us know in the comments what you think of our lineup. Who did we miss? Who are we spot on with? And what lineup are you putting out that's going to beat this one? That's the real question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing is if any of these guys, if McDaniels is not able to get healthy, obviously his lineup goes down the drain.
That's true.
But
it's true.
If he plays, this would be a pretty sweet lineup for game week 1. Should we look at some contender then?
Let's do it.
All right. No, you mean champion.
Yeah, some champion.
We're hitting the big leagues.
Oh, yeah.
You still don't know the names.
No,
I mean, that's fair.
No. You don't need to know the names.
That's fair.
Here we go. Concept players. Ooh, Sorare got looks like they have a little bug within their lineup tool there. The only champion we have. Oh, here we go. Now the picture's loaded. Gotta have everything ready for everyone. Here we go. See the concept. It's must be going through it. But we said we're gonna put Giannis for our MVP. Just locking that in. Again, with champion, your MVP does not count to your cap space. So we still have 120 now over 4 positions. So if we were to do another Wembanyama, then we would be able to spend 40 points per player. So that's some pretty big, like if we look at the amount of players that have above a 40 average, it's not that many. Not that many. So we could definitely make some serious lineups with those. So I think for this, generally with champion, we'll pretend like we're not going to use a full cheat code. We already did that for contender. Use our noggins here.
I don't know about you guys. We can talk a little bit of strategy here, but for champ,
Do it.
I normally like to pick like a lower average player that is projected to have a better game coming up, and then that can kind of allow me to use a higher average player into that lineup then.
Robert
But I don't know what you guys
Covington.
do.
Yeah, no, I like it because again, like if we add Robert Covington, which I have gotten to see him play a couple of times. Now on the Clippers, he's kind of anytime they need somebody to step up, he's usually there, vet. But if we look at his scores, he does have some spike games. So again, if he's got an L10 in the teens and he puts up a 47, my God, you are on your way to a nice reward. Probably some cash or some ETH, depending on how you take it. He's one, so I'll add him in, which will now allow us to have a much higher average for our remaining three. So Josh, you said after you add in the low L10, do you have trying to add another one, or do you kind of then move into like the 20s and 30s?
I guess it kind of depends on what my lower average players are looking like for that upcoming game. If I have two that are projected to kind of break out a little bit, then I'll do both, and then I can go even higher with those higher average players. Otherwise, I'll kind of stick more in the middle ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
again,
that's a good strat.
I got some pumps for you if you want to hear them.
All right,
I'll keep
let's
All
pumping
hear
the
right,
it.
pump
gallery.
up some players.
An absolute staple in my lineup last year, 36 average. I'm expecting him to continue having another good season. Very consistent player, Bam Adebayo.
Oh, that's not who I thought you were going to say.
I like it.
He's a staple. He's a staple for me. He's been in my lineup a lot. I mean, look at that. Look at that score graph. I mean, that is pretty darn consistent.
Yeah.
A lot of green.
Well, it's consistent, but he also manages to have some bad games too to keep his average from
down.
being 55. So he has a potential to put up in the 50s, even 60s, while costing you only about half of that. So yeah, love that shout. Let's lock in Bam and see what we're dealing with.
I think I know who Jacob thought I was. Well, maybe not.
So we have about 35
I don't know. Did
to
we say
spend.
that we're not going with any bucks, or did we not say that?
No.
Because I thought you were going to say one of my two staples last year. Either of the two, because they found my way into my champion and contender lineups every week. Brook Lopez or Bobby Portis.
Ooh.
Brook Lopez is a 33. Portis is a 30. I think both might drop down a little bit at the beginning of the season. Maybe Bobby a little more so with the addition of Dame.
Yep.
But I think I'm glad the Bucks I'm glad the Bucks brought Brook back. Holy cow. Say that. I'm glad the Bucks brought Brook back.
I can't say it.
Yeah,
no,
and
good.
I can't see you going wrong with the B Lopez up in your lineup. And I'm not talking
consistent.
I think if there's either of the two players between the two you just mentioned, between Bobby and Brook, that will kind of fall off a little bit this year. I would put my money on it being Bobby. Brook has the defense, he has the steals, he has the blocks. And he's always getting rebounds under the basket, whether it's offense or defense, and getting putbacks for points as well. I think he will hold that down a little bit better and a little bit more consistently than Bobby will this year, with Dame being a staple in the starting lineup.
And no Drew. That was a very
Yep.
big role Drew played for the Bucks, and with him
Yep.
gone, Lopez. But yeah, totally agree
Well,
on the comments with Bobby.
right.
He'll
Right,
he'll still
right.
be good. Again, like players will get L10 value as the season goes on. Generally, people should start the season healthy. But unfortunately, injuries do happen with sports. And that kind of does create these L10 G codes over time. So again, like for the Bucks, if they are resting Giannis or Brook Lopez, then Bobby can become a cheat code that way. So that's not to say that Bobby won't be usable at all this season. Just means that probably to start, his L10 will be overvalued to what he'll likely get you. So looking at this, we now have 37 points left. So again, with Champ, we could have a little bit wiggle room, but since we could pick anyone, we probably should go with someone 35 and higher to narrow it down a little bit. Let's see. Rounding up, I think we've kind of exhausted our Bucks. We could go with another Charlotte Hornet, Terry Rozier. Oh no, he's too high.
38.
He's too
He's
high.
38. I know.
Or I loved him last year. DeMar DeRozan,
I was
34
going to say
years
the
old,
exact same
but
player.
a big baller. Look at that 82. That is crazy.
Yeah. What?
He has the potential with just to put up big numbers. And again, that's what you need to win champion. You need to, because an 82 from DeMar puts him in the same category as Luka, as Jokic, as Giannis. So that's essentially another MVP in your lineup. The problem is he gets hurt. He doesn't have those great games.
It looks like he has an injury designation right now. Did you see what that was?
Rest. He needs to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That
'Cause
doesn't
the
mean
Bulls
anything at the
suck.
start of the season, I
Because
guess.
the Bulls
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
But the Bulls, like, he's kind of got a decent team. He's got now teammates. They signed Andre Drummond. So they now have Andre Drummond on their team. They have Zach LaVine, and a couple other players too. So I mean, he's got better teammates to work with than he did last year, I want to say.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Drummond, Zach
There's
LaVine,
Drummond, baby.
Vucevic.
Zach LaVine was another player that I
Yeah,
was thinking of
Vucevic.
too.
I don't know. I still don't think the Bulls are going to be much better than they were last year, but I do think that DeRozan is a good pick. I was also looking at your boy that we mentioned, Cade Cunningham.
Oh, yeah, that's a great shout. That's a
Mhm.
great shout.
Who's
Let's see,
36,
how many-
and I think that would be a fun one to pick too.
He
since
got
hasn't
hurt.
played.
What is this, like 10
Yeah,
games into
12,
the season?
12
Rip.
games. I was just looking it up to see if he's going to play, and it looks like he's going to be back to start the season.
Wow.
Got injured after 12 games, man.
That's
His rookie season.
Yeah. Cade
And he was
or
going
DeRozan.
off. He was playing really well in those 12 games too.
Killed
So
me. It killed me.
I would say you can't go wrong
Another-
with either of them.
Another player that popped in my head and I'm seeing on the screen now is last year's top rookie, Paolo
Yup.
Banchero.
Yep.
Sitting right
yeah.
at 36 average. Coming
Oh,
off of an
man.
excellent rookie year. I think he's only going to build on it. He's
Yep.
got the experience now. He's got a little more confidence. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. So that was another play that I thought of right away.
Man. Yeah, lots of good players in this 35 to 37 range. Honestly, can't go wrong with any of them. Do we go with, I think, is
I like Cade,
Cunningham
man.
the most?
Hey.
Cade? Yeah,
I like
Cade's the
that.
most
I like
fun.
that.
Cade's the most fun.
Oh,
Here we
that's
go.
not Cade.
Can't really see.
Ooh, Paolo.
Rated
I wish-
rookie.
It's a nice one.
Wish the lineup builder was working, but yeah, we just added Cade, have Brook Lopez, obviously Giannis. I think, can I show picked players? See, this is where, oh yeah, show picked players. Here we go. And will this work?
Click filter, maybe.
Oh yeah, filter. Here we go. Will that work? The lineup builder is definitely
Nope.
going through a little bit of upgrade, preseason
All right.
tweaks.
Well, that's
But here we
okay.
go. We got our champion lineup, not to be outdone by our contender
you
lineup,
save
which
it?
I don't think there is a way to save it
Oh no.
at this
Okay.
time. Yeah. So Sorare Data, if you're listening, that'd be a great feature. Or a share button would also be very cool.
Yeah, so
Um,
I guess let's go over both of them. Let's read them off again, not in a stupid announcer voice. But
Okay, I'm blanking on who we picked for
I
14
It's
and
okay.
Yeah.
36.
I screenshotted
There we
the
go.
okay,
other
Nash,
lineup.
so why don't you read us off both of our lineups here then?
Yeah, so our limited starting with the limited contender, we put in Damian Lillard. Then we added in Rookie of the Year candidate Victor Wembanyama. Next up, we put in Jabari Walker, JT Thor, and finishing it out with Jaden McDaniels. Exactly 110-point L10 average. That is our limited contender, or I guess any scarcity contender lineup. And then looking over at our champ lineup, starting off with our MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. We put in the 14-point average player, which was
Oh, do we know?
It was Covington. It was Robert.
yes,
there we go.
Robert
Good
Covington.
memory.
Yes,
Good memory.
yes. We next put in Shaden Sharp, I believe. Next we have Brooke Lopez, and then rounding it out with coming back from injury, gonna have a good year this year, Cade Cunningham, rounding out our limited contender lineup.
Ooh,
Beautiful.
let's get it.
Let's go.
I guess you want to make up a special sign off?
Yeah. Let
Go
us know in
for
the
it.
comments down below which lineup is better. I know
Ooh.
it's kind of biased, but which lineup do you think is better? Which one did we build better? And what lineups are you going to be starting out this upcoming NBA season on Sorare? We can't wait. We are so excited. Hopefully you are too. As always,
NBA
don't
giveaway?
forget. Ooh,
Oh,
Who said
Ooh.
that?
ooh, coming soon.
I have a hat.
Oh,
What? Who said
Oh.
that?
a hat. Ooh.
What? I don't know. That was a ghost. It was the
Mm.
outro.
Mm.
Interrupted the dang outro.
Yeah, I don't need hats.
Anyways,
I don't wear hats.
yeah, I don't wear anything.
Oh, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch you all in the next one. Peace.
Peace. War.
Or